Okay, we're going to take a big breath. We're not going to do a whole 30 seconds because I think everybody's really raring to go because it's been a nutsy day. Oh, I need one more light. So just let's breathe in, let it go. Another big breath. Let it go. And just notice if there's any part of you that is clenching tight, wiggle it, squirm around a little in your chair, get yourself organized. Take another big breath. Let it out. And welcome. Here we are at week 3. And I did get a chance to read some of what you sent me and not everything because I was having computer problems too. It's just been that way. So let's do our check-in. And Sue, why don't you start? Tell us what's been going on with you.
Well, I was just looking for my where I wrote down what my goals were for last week. So, so I did spend some time on LinkedIn looking at different people's profiles, and I also spent a lot of time on Goodreads looking at author profiles. It's funny because I almost felt like after a while, it felt like I knew the authors, even though I hadn't read their books, although in some cases, it seemed like the more famous and well-known authors, the shorter they get. It's like, okay, this is the author's 70th book and, the 50th to be on the New York Times bestseller list. So it's sort of like I sort of learned that, it seemed like the newer authors, first novels, that kind of thing had the sort of the more pithy statements about themselves. So that was sort of interesting. So that's actually, what I did. And then I redid my author profile and sent it out. And I think the thing that I realized is like I need some help with some pieces of the of my plan to publish this book, and so I reached out to Angela and to get some help on LinkedIn because I haven't really used it as a tool in a long time, quite a long time, and I know there've been a lot of changes to the application. So so that's sort of where I'm at.
Okay. And I'm so happy that you said that about the profiles because you will see a real big variety depending on the author, depending on how long they've been in publishing and whether they actually did it themselves or they had somebody else do it. So, and you'll also start to notice that as well because that's craziness right there. Miss Angela, what's happening with you?
Well, I spent a little time kind of looking at the chapters that I have and sort of organizing things a bit because I wanted to think about, why would anybody read this book? What is it they're going to get out of it? I looked at quite a few author profiles also because I have a couple friends that are publishing this month or early next month. And 2 of them reached out to me to post something on Facebook about their upcoming books. And that's really fun, looking at people that because you're like, wow, I didn't know that. Or it's interesting what they choose to, because especially if you've known them for years, it's interesting to see what they choose to put on their author profile. And, it's like, is that in alignment with what I know to be true? It's just kind of interesting. And then I spent a little bit of time on my Facebook page putting some of the pictures and some little posts on there. And I think that's, and I did work a little bit on expanding the questionnaire. I put the briefest of answers. So I did spend a little time thinking about that, but most of the time I spent just sweltering.
Understand. I spent a lot of time in the pool.
Oh
'Cause
dear God,
I don't want to think,
that would be better than it running down your body while you're sitting in front of
oh God, no, I get it. Well, you're bringing up an interesting point too, that depending on what genre you write in, now the people that you looked at their author information, and I know we're kind of doing this a little differently, but I'm just curious, are they writing fiction or nonfiction?
nonfiction.
Okay, so you would have expected that their author profile was going to match up with what you know about them in the world of business, right?
And it did for most intents and purposes. They're both kind of in the creative, mindful space.
Mm-hmm.
So things did match up pretty good. There weren't any huge surprises.
Yeah. And what's nice though, you did find something that is useful. When you put in something that is, I didn't know that, that's what kind of alerts people a little more. And you'd be surprised the number of authors who I have known even before I got into working with authors who said that they got more mileage out of something that was tangential, not their main gig. So whether it was a health
believe that.
issue, whether it was a personal interest, yeah. And if you start watching what comments or when you post, whether it's on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, if you start looking at what things are getting the views and the comments, serve up more of that. And then you can start to weave in your story. And you also talked about, well, who would want to read this? This is the time before you're published, when you first start working on a book, if you can, but if you're already involved, don't worry about that too. But authors who make a living from their writing write to market. They write to their market. So they know who their market is. They dribble things out to them. They serve up stuff that they want. So you discovered something very important, and you can start testing before you get too much farther in the process. So that's really great. So, Joanne?
Yep.
What's
Okay.
happening?
I worked on my author profile and sent it to you guys. And I tried to work on a Facebook page. That didn't happen, but I'll save that for I have a question issue or
Okay.
section. I did post my author profile, such as it is, on LinkedIn. And what I found when I didn't spend a lot of time looking at other people's stuff, but I did look at some, and they seemed to just put it in the experience section of their normal LinkedIn page. So that's what I did. And I changed my headline to bookkeeper and author. So you know, it's there now. I bought my ISBN numbers and my barcode, and my other issue is registering my ISBN number, because that didn't, you know, I had to stop because I had too many questions.
Okay.
So I accomplished my goal for the week.
You sure did. Well, I bet we'll be able to answer all those questions that you have. So we will come back. We will come back to all of those.
Yep.
That's really, it's really interesting. Once you start, you know, you've got the goals and you said, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And once you start working on them, even if it's not that you finished the project, the fact that you started it usually propels more action.
Well, and you know, and I probably said this in your last mastermind, this is, you know, doing this stuff and then taking the time to do the homework is like self-care for me, because it gets me to stop and take a break from my bookkeeping, you know, that never seems to end, all my client work, and, you know, spend several hours on my own stuff and go, oh, look, I took time off, even though, you know, this is work, but it's a different kind of work. So, you know, it's good.
Spot on. Spot on. I'm right there with you. I appreciate you noticing that too. Miss Deborah, I know you've been you've been having a great time. Everything's going swimmingly for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, because
I'm
in
sorry.
with everything, yeah, my computer's been having major glitches. That happened, started Friday late. And then, but I thought it was just something little. It became something big. But I also have a whole bunch of things happening on the property that, I mean, I'm just, what can I say? Life is full. So what I was doing on Friday, so I mentioned that I need to do all the prep materials for TEDx Marin. So I was writing this script and then decided to start practicing with it. And it been recommended that I do it on QuickTime Video to play with it that way. And I luckily did not try to upload anything. I just practiced until otherwise, who knows what my computer would have done with that. Might have really dumped, but as it was, so I've been doing a lot of working and realizing that what I was thinking of doing needed some more juice. So at least I got that picture, which was good. And I connected with a videographer who's the one who suggested I do QuickTime Video as my way of getting it ready for TEDx Marin, upload it, and that it would be an easy way to do it. And he's also doing my initial screenshot and everything, so I don't have to try to learn something to do it. So he's doing that whole scoop for me. That part is good. But it's also the realization that I still have a lot to do. I also created been working with all the follow through with the homeschoolers conference. So I've been working on email content for all the people who I saw at workshop, at Q&As, and those who connected with me via the exhibit hall. So I'll be sending an email out soon, and that feels good because it's important to keep up those contacts.
Honey, your audio is it just, are you all hearing it? It's a little funny.
Well,
Do you hear it, Deb?
Teeny bit.
Yeah, it's not real sharp.
I wonder what's going on because it was okay a few an hour ago.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Thanks for saying. Anyway, so I've just been doing a lot of catch-up stuff. I did not rewrite my the profile questions. Didn't make it to that.
No, focus on what you did do, not what you didn't do. This is not the time to tell me what didn't happen.
Okay. What I just said is great, probably what I got around to the most.
Okay, and that's amazing. That is amazing that you learned some new things. You tried some new stuff. And as far as I can tell, your hair is not on fire and you've made it even with all the weird crap that's going on with your computer. So I am proud of you. I'm proud of all of you because everybody did hit at least one bump, but you didn't worry about that bump. You just said, oh, well, that bump's going to stay there. I'm going to go do this instead. We'll get back to the bump. That's what this group is for, is figuring out how to go around, over, under, or the other direction. So this is cool. So I heard each of you said you've got something you'd like to question answered about. So we can go in the same order that we just did. So Sue, you said you've got some questions about what you're up to and what you want to be doing next.
Right. I was feeling, actually, it's interesting that you brought up about that phrase about writers write to their market, which I guess is pretty obvious, but you know, I'm sort of thinking that I think I'd mentioned last time that when I started sending my book out to people to read and the feedback I got, it became clear that the initial market I thought I'd have for the book wasn't there. So I need to sort of redefine it, work on redefining who would be interested in reading my book and figure out how to how to move toward those kinds of people, and figure out what would work and where they are and where to find them.
Yeah. Well, now that you know that who you thought it was is probably not who it is, then this is where using keyword searches, looking at who, kind of imagining who do I think will benefit from this? And then looking, is there an existing place where those people hang out? When you start doing that, then you can look, is there a conversation around this? And I can guarantee you that there is, because we all die, there, so far, everybody does. And so you start looking for who's talking about end of life, who's talking about what might happen afterwards, who's talking about how do I have a conversation about death, because in families, sometimes there isn't any context for that.
Right.
And if you start thinking about that, maybe you could have conversations about, well, what if someone in the family is gravely ill? How do you talk to the kiddos about that? How do you talk to the, relations? How do you talk to their business associates? Sometimes we have a period where we know ahead of time someone's dying. Sometimes we don't. So I would start looking at what conversations are already happening about death and dying. And Deborah and I know Jerry Grace Lyons, who started the Natural Death Care Project. Is that still the right name, or has it changed again? Yeah. The Natural Death Care Project.
Right.
And Jerry Grace is a godsend.
Yeah. I actually went through that program a few years ago. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I would reach out to Jerry Grace because I think she is, to me, she's just one of the most wonderful people in the world anyway, and would be a good place to say, what do you think? So I would talk with her about that.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. And look and see if there's conversations on Goodreads about this topic too, because I bet you there are conversations happening, both in fiction and nonfiction. So you don't have to just say it has to be one or the other. It could be either or both. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Oh, sorry, Sue, I didn't mean to cut you off there. So are we good?
Yes.
Oh, the last thing I was going to say, when I was reading your bio, would you try writing it? I know most of the time they tell you to do it in the third person, but see if you can do it in the present tense, see if you can rephrase it so it doesn't sound like everything happened. Make it urgent. So make it that it's in the now. And that is something you can do when you're doing memoir too. It doesn't have to be past tense. So you can speak about things as if they're happening right now.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So Joanne, you've got a question.
Well, I went onto my regular personal Facebook page, and you can click on create another page. So that's what I did. And I started filling in the description and the name, but the create page button was blanked out or grayed out, and it wouldn't let me add a picture. So it's like, I wasn't getting anywhere. So number one, I can ask my grandson. Number two, since it's going to be associated with a different email, maybe I should just do a whole nother page. But I thought these kind of pages are supposed to be connected to your personal page. So, so I don't know.
I'm gonna let you share the screen if you don't mind.
Well, I don't have it up at the moment.
Okay, well, I'm making you a co-host so you can, if you want to poke around and get there.
Okay.
Not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I'm not either. The other question was, I bought my ISBN numbers. That's cool. And then you pick a number and start putting in the info. So I'm doing the print book. I got that part. And it's funny because obviously I'm the contributor as an author. I guess I could put in my editor and cover artist if I wanted to, but I decided I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
But then okay, so then it asks what genre. So obviously mine's a memoir. It doesn't give, there's no genre for autobiography or memoir. There's only biography. So
I know, it's really stupid.
should I just pick biography or do I pick something else?
You know what? Let me research that because
Okay.
that seems weird to me because it should be using the book industry.
They have a whole list. They have a list that's coming, it's a drop down menu.
Yeah.
And I guess the other question is, is it protocol to put in my like editor and my cover artist as contributors?
That is a personal decision.
Okay, so that's not required. Okay.
Not required. You can do it, but not mandatory.
Okay. I mean, I am mentioning them. Obviously, I'm giving them credit for it. Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. It also wants to know the price point and the publishing date, which have not been decided. So my daughter's going, okay, just pick a date. So it's like, because it's getting close. I have one last person who's reading it for sure, and she's an editor. So I figure if anybody else does the test read before she's done, cool. If not, that's it. But so I don't know. I don't have a firm date because it's, so I don't know what to put there, and I don't know what to put for a price yet.
Okay, so let's answer both of those questions. So, you can put a pub date in, and it's okay if it's not 100% accurate.
Okay.
You're putting a pub date in your best guess. This is when
Okay.
it's going to go live, and you can always edit. This is all metadata. This is all the
Okay.
ISBN stuff is all data. It's not concrete in stone. Now
Okay.
there's some reasons at some point you need to say, this is what I'm going with. However, you can update and change things. I mean, Deborah, you've updated yours several times, or Ruth has updated it several times because we changed a couple of, little things. So that don't be worried. And if you discover that you put something in there and you're going, oh, that wasn't quite right, you can still fix it. But it's just like websites. When you change your data, it's going to take a few days for it to repopulate. So in the meantime, so it regenerates. I didn't know that at first. And I was working on a client and then, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. But pick a long enough window that you're comfortable with it, and that's fine. And so your pub date was the one, and the pricing. Pricing. What you want to do, go, and everybody should do this, even if you're not 100% sure right now. You want to go look at comparable book titles. And you might say, well, what's a comparable book title?
All right.
It's a memoir. So you go and look at what, and since you're doing it as an ebook to start with, correct?
No, print.
Oh,
Well,
print
and ebook. So
okay. So you want to look in both of those flavors.
right.
Amazon's the best place to look because it's the biggest database.
Right.
You can look at Goodreads too, and look at, pick probably 5 book titles that are similar subject matter, and you already know that there are several memoirs about women who were Mormon wives.
Oh, all right.
So I would start there, and I also look then, with the UFO angle, I'd look at that, and then just see what's happening, because you will get an idea of what the going rate is.
Okay.
And for most ebooks, right now, I think most ebooks are going around $9.99, but anywhere from $3.99 to $9.99, and this changes.
Right.
So it changes all the time, but just look and see what's working. And the price of the ebook and the print book are usually not identical.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It also wants to know who my target audience is.
Well, you told us.
Yeah. I just have to look back and see if that's a drop-down menu or not. because I think, oh, I know, that's why it was confusing, because it's going, is it for family? Is it for like college age? Is it for adult education? Is it, so it's like age groups?
Right.
It's like, and I would say adults, but adult education sounds really strange, and it doesn't just have a general adult population. It's, what do you mean adult education? So it was weird.
Okay, I'm going to bring something up that's going to help.
You-
Help everybody with this.
I have to get off the call.
Right. You're going to go next. You're going to go next.
Oh, no,
So-
but everything's flashing.
Oh.
I know.
Ooh.
As if your computer's about to crash.
I don't know.
Oh,
So
Okay.
I think I have to get off the call and see if I can get back on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. I'm going to watch for you. So I'm going to share my screen.
okay. And then I have one last thing, and that's
Oh no,
it.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. The last one on that ISBN thing was it asked for title status. Is it active or forthcoming?
Forthcoming, because you
Okay.
haven't published yet.
Okay.
So you'll switch that, because see, people often will put all this stuff in and they're doing pre-sales. And so
Right.
a forthcoming book, depending on which service you're using, you can usually do up to a year. I think Ingram
Oh,
Spark
all right. Okay.
12 months in advance.
Because and then they're going to generate the barcode from, you know,
Yeah.
you do the
exactly.
ISBN info, and then you click generate barcode, and my, cover artist / layout person is waiting for the barcode.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And as you know this, the rest of you don't know this yet. Yeah, the Bowker website sucks.
Yeah.
It's awful. It is, I mean, you feel like, what year did this? They haven't updated it. I
Yeah.
mean, they've made like teeny tiny changes in
In
it.
a minute. But I will say, thanks to your suggestions from the last mastermind, I joined the IBPA and got my 15% discount on those ISBN numbers. So yay, I saved almost
Yeah.
$50.
You did. And what all of you want to do when you're publishing, if you're doing self-publishing, you want to get it up on Amazon first. If you're not using something like Draft to Digital to do your
Just a
book
minute.
distribution, then you want to get it up on Ingram Spark. Now the ISBN is going to be the same for when all of the paperbacks use that same ISBN. So if you have
Right.
a paperback and you publish it on Amazon, you also
Right.
use that same one on Ingram. Same thing with ebook and audiobooks.
Right.
But I'm telling you the workflow, because Amazon does its thing and then Ingram does its thing. But Ingram is a distributor. Amazon is a reseller. I mean, it's selling your stuff. You're selling directly. You don't sell directly through Ingram. People can buy once the book is listed, and they buy from the Ingram catalog. So
Oh,
that's,
because I thought Ingram, part of their services were they would get it on Amazon for you and other.
you can do that too. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's not, oh goodness, that is not showing what I'm wanting it to do. Hold on a second. Okay, I thought I had, oh, it's because I didn't choose anything. So let me not do that. I was trying to get up the BISG page and do the book industry study group is amazing. So let's see the complete here. So I'm going to get that up and now I'll share it with you. Okay, Zaruski, and I think Deborah's having a horrible time. Come on, share my screen. And, okay. So the book industry study group is where all of those flavors came from that you are encountering when you're looking at Amazon, when you're looking at any place. So the BISG is BISG.org. And then you want to look at the subject headings. This is all metadata again, keywords, metadata. When you go through here, when you go through the BISG website and you look at the categories, you'll start to see there's all these different flavors. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep hitting other stuff with this. And so yours also, you know, you want to think, what's my top level heading category? What's a secondary? And you also want to keep in mind that if you're too general, people can't find you. So you want to narrow it down as much as possible. And there's this little trick after you have published and you're on Amazon. Now, when you first list it, it's going to give you 2 categories,
Okay.
but you can go back afterwards and then you can have up to 10. But you have to go through all this rigmarole. I know, you think they could just do it from the beginning, but no, they just make it hard. So you can see that, you know, here's biography and autobiography. And let's just see, yeah, they don't have memoir separately. So it's probably going to go in the biography. I know, because it's not a biography, it's an autobiography. And we also, I just saw spiritual, where did I see that? Well, I saw the mind, body, spirit. Let's just look at, let's see what's under this one, because it's going to have, so when you figure out what the main top level heading is, then you can see underneath that, there's all of these other things. And I do believe memoir is going to be in here. Oh yeah, so see, we've got biography and autobiography, culinary. And I'm already thinking of several books that are in my library that fit that. There, we've got rich and famous, we've got educators. There's actually a whole section for Jewish people like me. Okay, we got that. We've got music, people with disabilities, personal memoirs. Okay, here we go. So this is the BISG code that you want to be under. This,
Oh, I see.
yeah. So these little guys are really crucial. And so you want to look through that, because the closer you can get to the target that you want, the better. But for ranking on Amazon, you don't necessarily want to be in the biggest pool. You want to be in a smaller niche, because then you can own it. But don't worry, because again, none of this is cast in stone. You can change it. So you could start out in the biography, personal memoir, and then decide, yeah, maybe that's not the thing that's really getting people into the books. And Sue, same thing with you. You might start out talking about what happens after death, but then you find, I'm going to give you a red herring. You could find out, oh, people want to know about my peaches recipe, my peach pie recipe. And so then you're going to tweak it again. So people often do this. They publish, nobody's finding their book. And then they go, well, maybe I need to move it around a little bit. So you can do that. It's totally legitimate. People redo their cover design, they redo their categories, they redo their keywords. Get it published. You know, I'm giving you this advice. Get it published, then you can mess around with it. Oh, and see, like this one, psychology, social science. I got really fascinated. And here we've got religious. But you wanna go poking around in BISG to see what fits best. This will also give you a clue what to look for when you look for a comparable book. And then see if you put these terms in to Amazon and what comes up. If it doesn't look like the people you want to be talking to, keep looking, keep tweaking it. So is this brand new info for all of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And it's complicated. I'm not going to tell you it's not complicated. It's not a simple thing. In fact, I know 2 companies off the top of my head. This is what they do.
Wow.
They do this digging and pulling and putting all the metadata. The other reason this is so complicated is there is not currently, oh, there's Deborah. Oops.
Deborah's writing.
Yeah, she's waiting. There is not currently a universal database for all of this stuff. So Bowker is as close as we get. BISG is pretty close, but depending on where you're putting your information, it's going to ask you for different things. Now, wouldn't it be nice if you just had to do it once and that would be it? Well, it isn't that way. So there we go. So Miss Deborah, we were just talking about BISG codes.
What?
The book industry study group codes, the codes that, you know, identify what your genre is. So yeah, so you guys are going to have some fun looking around and seeing what's over there. So did we answer all your questions? Did I answer all your questions? I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So Deborah,
Yes.
what do you need help with?
I need my computer to be working right.
I can't help with that.
Yeah.
Do you need names of good computer people?
I've got that.
Okay.
Got that.
I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. So what do I need? I need more time.
When things are working. But you mentioned you needed to spice things up. So is that for the video?
Yes.
So-
I realized that what I was doing as I was practicing and saying was that it was just too humdrum. I need to come from the voice of the kids. So I need to, instead of speaking my words, I need to rewrite it so I am telling the story from a kid's point of view, actually his words, and from a teacher's words. And come from that place rather than saying, you know, who I am and what my program is about. Speak their
Right.
words and that says it. So I'm
Yeah.
going to play with that.
Yeah, focusing on the results.
Mhm.
And you have that light bulb thingy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that. Props are amazing.
Yeah. In fact, you all got to see this. This is actually on my website. If you go to if you go to my school assembly page, you'll see pictures of me and the video that I'm doing holding this up. So imagine this lit up and talking to the kids about energy. It's a
great.
light bulb. Isn't that huge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
So anyway, I just need to be, you know, I was thinking, I'm talking to you know, TEDx Marin is a lot of educated professionals, and I was thinking I needed to give them the information the way they might receive, but they're parents, they're educators, they're professionals, and they all want the results stated from the mindset, from the voice of those who've received the benefits. So I'm changing it up and I'll play with that. I
Yeah.
still have another, it goes live on September 1st. So I still have about a week to get it all done and finalized so it can be up.
Why don't you let me see the draft when you get the first draft done?
Okay.
And then, you know, I can see if I can see any fun things in there too.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Video is interesting. And Angela, I think you probably have done more than anybody. You've done, you know, because you're doing it all
Have a
the time.
few.
Yeah. And what would you say because you've changed your style as you've gone along.
Yeah.
So what words of wisdom would you impart on everybody? And all of you need to be using video of some kind.
1 point. 1 point for each video, just 1 point. Everybody stuffs way too much into, you know, we all want to fire hose them down with everything we know. And they just walk away confused and overwhelmed. So it's just one quick and easy little nugget. And, you know, no more than a minute and a half. 3 minutes if it's some sort of an instructional thing. But yeah, keep it short. And rehearse, 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 and then do it as natural as you possibly can. You know, some people use a teleprompter, but, and I started out that way. I can't do that. It just doesn't work. I really need to, you need to keep it short. If you can't remember what the point is, it's too long. Um,
So
Talking
yeah,
about like doing a little promo video that maybe you'll put on your website or something. Or your
what I'm
Facebook.
doing,
90 seconds is max, 30
Yeah.
seconds is better.
yeah. So what I'm doing with this promotional video, it's an informational video because it's, I might have mentioned it last time, TEDx Marin it's a virtual showcase of selected innovative businesses. And what I'm offering is in that 2 to 3 minute piece is getting their attention. So it's like somebody's walking up to the booth and I need to get their attention like that. And then it needs to be able to easily bring them to the rest of my information. But really what it amounts to is that video is all I have, unless they just click on my logo and go to the landing page. But I think it's a better note if I can get their attention via the video, that then they, from there, immediately go to the link.
Yeah.
So,
So
Yeah.
I do have one more important tip, and Deborah, this might help you.
Hmm.
You always want to start by either asking a question or making a bold statement. And then you tell people who you are. You give them a reason to be curious and interested first, then you tell them what you're all about.
okay.
Have you ever wanted to, or did you know that 67% blah, blah, blah? You know, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to, and it needs to be about whatever the problem is that they're trying to solve
Mm-hmm.
or the result that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what comes to mind, Deb, is the fact that children as young as 6 years old are being diagnosed with stress disorder. If you made that statement, you got everybody's attention. They're going, what? Because that's exactly what, then you can go into, it's something that can be addressed in as little as 10 minutes a day. So you've got this big headline, and that's what Angela's saying. This is your big headline that is getting people to go, oh, and then they're riveted. You know, think about movie trailers. That's what this is. This is like a movie trailer. Movie trailers hook you with something that you can't look away from. They're trying to get your attention to then go make a purchase, watch something. You know, that's the same model that publishing has used too. Here's the big deal. Here's how to scratch that itch.
So it's the beginning of the train wreck. And then you let your
Exactly.
imagination go wild. They don't show you what the result is.
Right. Because our minds, this is proven, our minds want to close the loop.
Right.
And anytime you have an open loop, so posing a question, saying something, not finishing the sentence, that works for print, it works for video, it works email, everything. You want to get people to do the next thing, get them to, I want to know what happens. I want to turn the page. I want to see how the hero comes out.
I mean, here's the big question right now. Do you want to know how to cure pandemic burnout?
Whoa. And kids have it too.
Yeah.
Kids have it too. They are really getting it because part
They
of the
don't have the
school,
tools.
part of the school situation, I mean, you just dealt with the homeschoolers, but part of the reason we send kids to school is so they learn how to be human beings in community. And trying to do that when you don't already have a framework using these tools, oh my God. scares the crap out of me. So you've got lots of really rich topic areas to start with. And just, pick a couple, video yourself and go, where am I coming across with the most juice?
Okay,
So I think that's important.
great. Thank you so much.
It's fun to do this stuff. Yeah.
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 And then it's nugget videos, and you send them to what you want them to do.
Say that again? You send them?
To whatever the next activity is. Check out your website.
Oh, okay.
Read chapter 1.
Okay.
Purchase the book.
Take my survey, all of those good things. And the more generous you are with sharing information without saying buy anything, the more likely people are going to go and do that next step. They really will. They will take the action. And Angela's absolutely right. I'm even thinking about doing this more frequently when I do email, that I'm going to include a video link about what I want to share or what I want people to do. Because just because I know how to do it doesn't mean you know how to do it, doesn't mean they know how to do it. So if you want someone to go sign up for your email list, and maybe you're doing something on Facebook or you're doing something on LinkedIn, if you include a video that shows them, they can figure it out.
Mhm.
Oh, one more little bonusy thing before I let you all, do your goals, is in email, in Constant Contact, and in MailChimp and most of them, you can include it'll be a video thumbnail that will then take them to play somewhere else. So you'll click on it and then it'll play in YouTube or wherever. And it's really helpful. So if someone signed up for your email, think about it, if in your thank you email, there's a video clip and you're welcoming them in. Do you have a welcome video on your website? Do you have a welcome video on your LinkedIn profile? All of these things, little nuggets. So people get to see your cute face, they get to see who you are, they get a sense of who you are, and then you're sending them for something else that is valuable to them. So you're not asking them to buy a thing. You are giving. And that's part of how you do your pre-sales. You build up anticipation. You start to build interest by being generous. But including video clips in your communication is hands down going to change your response rate. I mean, Angela, you've seen it already. And from there, then you can think about, am I going to do a webinar? Am I going to do, a challenge, a masterclass? What do I want to do? But the more you use video, the higher the engagement. Because for right now, this is what we got. We ain't going out and going hi and shaking hands. This is our virtual handshake. It's very cool. Okay, are any other questions or ideas or goodies? So we want to do two things: share your resource and your goal for this coming week. It's crickets.
Well, I should probably go so I can, I'm sorry, I won't be able to wait for everybody, I don't think, but my goal is I want to get this script written and get it ready so that I'm not being jammed up against a major deadline. And also get all my information out to the homeschooler crowd for the thank you and the winner of the event, the winner of the raffle and the next webinar. So that's my big goals. There's others, but I'm going to put those two at the top of the list.
That's enough.
And for resource, I have been coming across some really great ways that schools and platforms are bringing information to kids. So there's one that's called Kikori, Kikori. It's a new app that's being promoted for activities for kids.
Oh,
And so I've been having fun delving into that to see. But I'm recognizing that it's really important to have answers like that because there's so many educators out there who are still searching. I have a new client who's a vice principal and I can't believe the stories I'm hearing from her. And it's like, teachers are just
meltdown.
meltdowns
Yeah.
already, and it's just started. Yeah, school has just started tomorrow or today, whatever it was,
Yeah.
for a lot of them.
I saw teachers taking their boxes into their classrooms. Okay. Well, very cool. So I know I'll be seeing your stuff. I will be seeing that soon. Okay. Good. Good. Moving that forward. Okay. Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Thank you, Angela, for your expertise.
My pleasure. I need some beta readers. That's my big goal. I really need to get some feedback and figure out. I was just looking at the categories and I'm like, oh my God, there's absolutely nothing that my book fits into. And so I think feedback might help me figure out what, because there is like no outdoor adventure, you know, it's either nature or sports and recreation. It's really, they're really bad categories. So I think I need some feedback as to what the book, what people get out of it, so that I can categorize it a little bit better. And then I would like to play with the idea of doing a video for chapter 1, since it's on my website. Because I don't know how I could condense the story of how the title came about, but that might be the most interesting thing of all to tackle. And then the resource that I have is, I don't know if you guys have heard of Loom, Loom.
Yes. You stole mine.
Great resource. I just had a client call me and say, I didn't do my homework and I just realized that I don't have that section on my LinkedIn profile. Can you show me in a Loom how to add it? So it only takes a couple seconds. You know, it's really, really quick and easy.
It is. And
It's a Chrome extension. Does it come in other formats than that, Judy?
yeah, I have the Chrome extension, and then I also have the desktop app.
Okay.
So Loom is similar to Zoom, but not identical. And you can create a video in like that. And you don't have to share it with anybody. So if you don't like it, you don't have to publish it to anybody else. But it is one of the fastest, clearest ways to create a video I have ever seen in my life. It's good stuff. Check it out. And again, play with this stuff. See how it works.
Would that be something instead of QuickTime Player?
Yeah. I would give it a shot, Deb, but wait till your computer sticks. But you can do Loom on your phone too, or tablet, or yeah, any of the above.
Okay.
So it's Loom.
Okay.
Very, very fun.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to have to take off.
Okay, kiddo.
Thank you,
Let me
everybody.
know what happens after John's there.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Okay, I don't know, I'll go.
okay,
Um, let's see. My goals for this week, number one, finish setting up a Facebook page for the book or being an author. I'm finishing my ISBN registration. And then the other thing is, I have some constant contact or beginning things set up, and I got my book covers done. I got the artist to just send me the PDF of the front cover, so I
nice.
can use that in my constant contact stuff, and now for my social media and my promotion stuff. And then my resource, I have the main editor for my book is Jim Baldwin in Nevada with Right Stuff Inc., and he did a great job. I've also hooked up with a former friend of my daughter's up here in Washington, and she and I just clicked interest-wise and whatever, and she just, to show me her services, she just like revised the book description, and it just popped. And it's like, oh my gosh, okay, because I don't think my editor even changed my version. So it's like she just tweaked a few things. He mostly worked on the inside stuff, but
Yeah.
he worked on the inside stuff, but she just popped my book description. And her name is Erin Lund with Sunshine Editorial Services. So if anybody's looking for an editor,
Awesome.
I would recommend her. I'm going to use her for future stuff, because as we do more with the author profile and get websites going, there will be things that need to be edited. So
Great. Yep. And not all editors do all things. So that was a good
True.
observation too.
True.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yeah.
So Miss Sue.
Okay, so I guess I'm updating my author profile again. And I'm also thinking I need to sort of pick up the threads of certain things that I was in the process of when I put a screeching halt on everything back a couple of years or so. And because I did have somebody who was working on a book cover, and somebody who was helping me with the sort of the technical side of things. And I need to sort of reconnect with some of these people. And I guess, one question that sort of arises in my mind,
Mhm.
does the actual launch of the book happen? Can that happen like before everything else is sort of in place, or does everything else get in place and then the book becomes available?
Well, when you launch the book, you want to be sure people can buy it. So you do want to be sure, but I'm going to hedge this. You do want to be sure that when you launch your book, that it's available where you tell people they can go buy it. Because if you don't make it available, they may not go back. They might put it on the list, but they tend not to go back and buy stuff. But if you do pre-launch, which is a marketing campaign, so you can say the book will be available on such and such a date. And you can change that. So say you say the book's going to be available in 3 months, but you're not quite there. You can push it out again. So you tell people they can pre-order through, and you tell them which channel they can pre-order through. And then when the book goes live, on that day, all of those pre-orders get processed. And depending on how many of them there are, that's usually what will push a book to #1 in the category on Amazon or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
But with pre-orders, which is brilliant because again, you're getting proof that somebody wants to buy your book. The more pre-orders you have, the better opportunities you're going to have for more people to see your book, because Amazon's algorithm, which is mysterious and quirky and weird, it works that once, like with reviews, once there are over 100 reviews, your book starts coming up. With Amazon ads, when more people see your ad, more people see your ad. On Facebook, the more people see your stuff, the more people see your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all based on frequency and eyeballs. So you can pick the date and then you can do a soft launch before it's available to everybody. Now, I heard it just made my heart hurt statistic today. Some of the big publishers, there's now only 5 big publishers, but anyway, that they often will send out more books than most of us will sell in the lifetime of the book. They may send out over 5,000 copies to reviewers so that there is buzz about the book. And those reviews, now, just because you send out 5,000 doesn't mean 5,000 people are going to review your book. But if you send out, figure out what your budget is, you're going to send out copies of your book to be reviewed with the intention that those reviews are going to get posted and people buy things based on reviews because it's third-party endorsement. So it's not you talking about the book. It's somebody else saying this is the best thing since sliced cheese. I'm just pulling something randomly off of my bookshelf. And like here, I happen to know Sam. Sam Horn is very, very smart. She's a book marketing person too. On the back of her book, she has 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this book, guess who gave her an endorsement? Willie Amos, famous Amos Cookies. He said, "I wish I'd received What's Holding You Back during my early years. I recommend every parent give it to their child. It teaches more than how to be confident. It teaches how to be the kind of person you want to be, regardless of what others think and say." So, you know, when you get one of those, that's pretty good. But you know what? She might not be best buddies with Willie Amos. I will tell Deb this too. I want all of you to make a list of your dream endorsements. If I got an endorsement from, fill in the blank.
Jimmy Chin.
Okay. So you have your A list. If I got an endorsement from these 5 people, I would be over the moon. And are you already connected to them? If you're not already connected to them, look at how you might connect. And whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or some other social media, are they in a group you already belong to? Whether it's an association or a group on one of these platforms. So you've got your 5 people. If you got an endorsement from them, oh my God. And then you've got your next tier. If I got an endorsement from these 5 people, I would be delighted. And they might be your peers. They might be people in your industry. They might be people that you know first name basis. But what I want you to understand is now is the time, if you don't already have the connection to those A-listers that you would like, now is the time to see how you can do something that will serve them. So if one of those people that you list, say I picked Michelle Obama, and I could because I liked her arms and that got me to do TRX, which is a true story. And that helped me have that vision while I was rebuilding my body after cancer, because she was the first female politician I ever saw who had a body like that. I went, I want some of that.
Thunder
So if
and lightning. That's what she calls them.
Exactly. But you know, she's not scary to me. You know, I think I could go into a room, I probably would be tongue-tied, but I still could tell her, honestly, I admire you because you got me to do something that was outside of my comfort zone, and it worked. So I would look to how can I connect with her, and I definitely am connected to her in social media. And then I would see something about what she's doing. I could either comment on something she has said that made a difference, and then I would say, oh, and by the way, have you seen this recipe that uses no sugar and tastes fabulous, because I know you're really health conscious and I know your daughters are too. So I'm not telling her to buy my book. I'm not telling her I'm writing a book. I'm not doing any of that. I am simply giving her a gift. And I'm looking to build a relationship with her. And she may or may not accept, but I'm going to reach out that way. So you do that with your A-listers. And often the people that do endorsements, you can write to them and say, I would love for you to give me a testimonial for my book. And it'll either list their press secretary or whatever, and you can get endorsements. Because I've seen this on other people's books. They don't know that person, but there are a lot of celebrities who will endorse. And
Book?
well, no, some of them will, some of them won't. No, I know. I'm breaking the bubble here. Some of them actually will read your book. Some of them will not read your book, but it doesn't really matter. And to be honest, it doesn't matter. If they give you a juicy endorsement and they didn't read your book, as long as it's on target, and you're going to tell them the things that you want them to highlight.
Wow.
So the same way you ask for testimonials, you can write it and then ask them to edit it and sign
yeah.
up. Yeah. So Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, he does endorsements. You can ask him. Oh yeah.
I'm
So
on his
think about that.
group, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting, because I've gotten several positive comments from the test readers so far that are thinking, well, that's a quick, those are things I can use in my promotion, just some of the nice things they've said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the really cool thing is if you self-publish, like I am gonna flip into Sam's book because I know she's done it too. So she's got 3 on the back cover. And then, did she do this? So she's got her introduction. Oh, she didn't do this. Often people will do this. Like in the front matter, and the front matter is the stuff before the book starts.
Right.
So you've got the dedication, all that stuff. You can update, so as you get more testimonials, you can add them and just make that small change, upload your new file to your print-on-demand printer.
Right.
There's Amazon or whatever. And so then that's the version that then gets served. Oh, usually is the version that gets served up. I will say this. Amazon doesn't always. If they already printed some extras, they're going to keep sending those out. So if you do this, yes, this is a super duper bonus. If you found out that there was a mistake or you added some extra material, when you upload it again, you say, please destroy any previous copies. Otherwise, Amazon they're not going to waste those. They're going to send them out. We found that out through Redwood Writers, through our anthology, and we were going, wait a minute, we made this change. We know we made the change, and why isn't it showing up? So anyway, that's something to pay attention to, but you can continue to add stuff and change things around. So I hope that is helpful, but you guys have you've got great stuff. Now, since Angela stole my my resource, what am I going to share with you? No, you didn't steal it. I'm sorry. It's just that we both think alike on that one. I'm going to find something else that I think is really yummy. Just give me a second. I'm going to go into, now I told you all I'm listening to Maya Angelou, right?
Right.
Yes. I'm almost done. It's great.
I am almost done. These later chapters are really curling my hair, I will tell you. There is another podcast that I really like called #AmWriting. And
What was that?
it's #AmWriting. Can see that little yellow guy, #AmWriting.
Okay.
There are 3 professional writers. They've all written for like the New York Times and other really prestigious things. And It's a combination. One of the women has written 50 something romance novels. The other two mostly write nonfiction. Um, but it's a fun podcast because they talk to each other, but they also interview people. And it's very helpful. And I think I told you about this other one, which is, well, there's two of them. I'm just gonna hold this. I got the right about now is Brooke Warner and Grant Faulkner. The one right under it, oh bless you, dear. The one right under it is the
Right-minded podcast?
Right Minded is theirs. And then the Writers Inc. is interesting. I just started listening to this.
Those are podcasts.
They're all podcasts about writing, and I'll send out the links in the follow-up. But the Right About Now is an interviewer talking to authors. Right Minded podcast, both Grant Faulkner and Brooke Warner. Brooke Warner is the founder of She Writes Press, and she's past president of IBPA. She's wonderful, and she writes memoir. And Grant is one of the people who is involved with NaNoWriMo, and he writes flash fiction and he writes short stories, and he's just a very nice, fun man. And the Writers Inc. is one I just started listening to, and it's about the business of writing, and it different flavor. And the reason I'm suggesting you listen to several different ones, you're not going to resonate with all of the formats. Like I've been trying to listen to the Six Figure Author podcast, and it annoys the shit out of me. So it's going off my, yeah, I'm sorry. It's good information. I don't like their format. So it's going to go away. That's the beauty of this. You get to pick and choose. And you're all making fabulous progress. Now I'll send out the replay. I'll send you out the resources. And I have started reading through everybody's stuff. And I think you're on to what you need. So look at your profiles as if you don't know yourself, as if you are that person you want to touch their hearts. And is it doing that? Is it spicy enough? You know, maybe they don't like spicy food. Maybe they want it to be really safe. Is it intriguing? Is it getting people involved, engaged, so that they want to know more? And if you can do it in present tense, and you may just do it as an exercise to see if you can write it in present tense to give it immediacy. And then look at the two together. If you've written it in third and then you look at it in first and you go, yep, I like this one better, or no, I'm going to do this. It really does depend on who you're speaking to, which one's going to work. And I think that's it. I think you're all doing really super well. I have a question before we close. I do want to look at the profiles again next week, but is there any other area you would like to cover next week? And I am happy to come prepared to discuss it. Yes, Sue.
I'd like to find out what you think about writing blog posts, and how, is it necessary? Is it just desirable? Does it matter? You don't have to answer that, but that's a topic.
No, I think we can talk about that, and I've got several thoughts on that. I know Angela does too. Yeah. Perfect. Angela, do you have something that in this whole mix?
Yeah, I'm curious what you can tell us about formatting. I mean, because each of mine are like a standalone chapter, I'm trying to come up with a clever way, you know, whether it be, I don't know, one word title, and I don't know, a definition, or, you know, But formatting, I have a lot of different ideas about that. I have too many ideas about that. So if you have some standards, you know, something that would be acceptable and simple and attention getting.
Okay. Yep. Definitely can do that.
And I have a feeling, Joanne, you could probably read some of your chapters too, and they would stand on their own quite strongly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So
And I will say, you know, it's like, because I have a different chapter for each husband. Yeah, so that fills the book.
It's the
I think it was
encyclopedia,
my
but
daughter. My daughter helped me come up with some juicy titles for all of them, except for my current husband. So, and they're
Which-
not very complimentary. So,
and
some of,
it's funny. Yeah.
yeah, so
he who
it
shall not
grabs
be
you.
mentioned.
Pardon me? I'm
He
sorry,
who
which-
shall not be mentioned. It's a Harry Potter reference.
Well, I'm going to take my author profile. You know, I have dinner with them every night. So, and they're my best critics. You know, good or bad. They're very brutally honest. So I'll see if they like the bios. I mean the profile.
Yeah. Beautiful. You're amazing. I seriously am impressed because there's nothing simple about what we're doing,
Oh,
you know? And if you just take it one piece at a time, then you add those pieces up.
laughing at the
Somebody's,
cat.
somebody's ready for dinner.
Yeah, mine have already been crying and gave up.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. I'm going to let you go because I
he's
kept
far
you
more
late.
obnoxious than that.
I kept you late.
All right. Thank you
This
so
has been
much.
fun. All right. And I'll send you
Bye.
reminders. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.